Welcome back to a new video. I'm actually feeling quite uncomfortable to talk about this just because it's quite exposing. It's making me feel a little bit vulnerable talking so honestly and then putting it on the internet. But there's so much BS on the internet. A lot of people are struggling with the topic that I'm going to talk about today, which is all about finding your tribe, feeling lonely, lacking the amount of connection in your life that you're feeling that you want, and just feeling generally a bit disconnected from others. I know from personal experience that I really get comfort out of watching other YouTubers talk about topics that are really raw and real, because it makes me feel as though I'm not alone in that feeling. I thought I would just start by talking a little bit about my story and why I'm talking about this. I've always made a joke that I have no friends, and this is not to discount any of the people in my life that are my friends, because through my life I've had people around me. I think I've lacked a lot of deeper connection in my life where I feel like I'm missing out on those more meaningful connections, which are what really help to make us feel connected and safe, and like we've got that support around us. I think it all stems, like for me personally, when I was in school, actually in primary school, very popular, had a lot of friends, and I was myself, because I guess all of those like insecurities and stuff that come from being aware of yourself hadn't kicked in yet. But once I got to senior school or high school, if you're American, I started to feel different. Mostly because of my sexuality. You know, I was starting to come into terms with the fact that I was gay, and my way of dealing with that was to retreat. So when everyone around me was forming cliques and little tribes in school, I felt like I was retreating inward and trying to like distance myself from people, which I completely understand, and it was protection for myself. But it did mean I missed out on a lot of those early connections. And a lot of people go through life and still maintain those friendships at school. And then when I went to college, you know, doing my A-levels, again, I was isolating myself. So this was my own fault at this point in my life. I didn't feel comfortable to be myself, and I didn't know whether people were going to accept me, which I think a lot of people from the LGBTQ plus community could relate to, because you feel a bit, you know, you just feel different. When I went to university, I told everyone I was gay straight away, so I did find it easier to connect with people because I was being more myself. I was being open about who I was, and we were all thrust into this situation together where everyone's new to it, everyone's living alone for the first time, and it does bond you. I felt like I formed some really good bonds in that first year. But I started to see the same pattern playing out, which was other people were forming cliques. So I wasn't really part of the boys, I wasn't really part of the girls, and I didn't really fit in with the LGBTQ plus community. I don't think I was fully accepting of myself. I wasn't getting that deeper connection in that group, and I didn't feel like I was able to be fully myself in that group. So again, I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. Obviously for me, a lot of this might be because I'm gay, but I feel like for other people it could be various sorts of things. It could be like a mental health reason, or like you've just got low self-esteem, or there could be previous trauma. There could be anything going on that prevents you from building those meaningful connections. But we all want and need that and crave that. And I think a lot of issues can come from the fact that people don't have enough of that in their life. So when you're not getting it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think, because you think that you're different and you think that you're not. There's a disconnect between you and other people, and you think, well, I just won't, you know, I just accept that about myself. I used to say I don't really have friends, and I used to laugh about it. Two squirrels behind me fighting. I didn't ever really fit in as part of that big group, which is what you see when you're on, you know, when you're young. For example, my generation, we grew up like watching Friends on TV, and they had this close-knit group, this community of people that were all really supporting each other. They'd come together in the cafe, wouldn't they? And I think I really wanted that. I really wanted to be part of something like that, just a diverse friendship group where we all like respected, valued each other, and really understood each other. You see it perpetuated on social media. It seems like everyone's posting things where they're doing things in groups, or people are just out with friends all the time, and you think, why do you have these many friends? Is it even possible to have that many friends? Which leads me on to something else that I really want to talk about. Are we even meant to have a tribe? Is that just something that's been forced upon us by social media and looking at other people's lives, and it's making us feel like we're failing if we don't have that? But maybe not everyone needs that. You know, like some people, if you're looking for a really deep connection with others to feel like you've got that like solid friendship, like me, I could probably only have that with a small handful of people, because it takes a lot of energy to stay close and connected with people. And if someone has a load of friends, they're probably not going to have the amount of time and energy I need in order to feel connected to someone. You know, maybe we just don't need it, and it's just an interesting thought. I mean, I know that we all need to like some level of connection, and we do need people around us, and we don't want to feel like lonely, but I'm wondering, are we actually lonely, or are people just telling us that we should feel lonely because we don't have enough people? And maybe we should just be cultivating the relationships we have with the people we do have in our lives to make them closer and stronger, so that we feel more supported and we have that sense of community even though it's small. Now, I'd be really interested to know if any of you struggle with this, and if you find it hard to fit in and make deep connections with people. And I'm sure there will be people out there thinking, well, maybe it's me, you know, maybe it's, you know, maybe there's something wrong with me and the way that I relate to people. Maybe, you know, there's something that I need to work on myself. Yeah, I'm open to that, and if people want to say that, that's fine, but all I can share is how it is for me right now. I don't think that COVID and the lockdowns helped with this. I felt less lonely before the lockdowns. You know, when everyone was going into work and it was normalised to be more social and be around people more often, it was helping people connect with each other, because you felt like you had to. You're like, we come to this office every day together, so you want to form relationships with the people that you work with, because you see them sometimes. You saw them more often than you would see like your partner or your loved one, so you build that friendship and those relationships. But I think nowadays, since COVID, everything is a bit more disconnected. Whether you're working from home or hybrid working or whatever, like I really enjoy working from home from a practical perspective, but I think from a connection perspective it probably doesn't help. And I think during COVID we became so inward, and we were looking at ourselves and only a very, very select few people, probably people that were in your household, and you didn't feel like you had the capacity to sort of reach out and build connections with other people, because you just didn't have the energy to do it. And I think that that has carried through a bit. I think that there's a lack of interest from some people, like in life at the moment, because everyone's still in that mentality. And I know that everything's relatively normal again, but I do think the after effects of COVID I'm still feeling them. You are feeling similar. I'd really, really love it if you could share your experience below in the comments. I suppose in a way I'm looking for that connection, and part of that is in what I'm doing. I'm being really honest with what I'm doing, and although this channel is supposed to be really fun, and it will remain fun because I love to do fun things, but there is a lot of depth to me as well, and I wanted to share both sides to myself. And although this feels like overwhelming to know that, you know, anyone can look at this, I just think if we were all more open like this, because we are all so similar and feeling similar things, I think if we were all open and more vulnerable with each other, then this wouldn't even be an issue. If that helps people feel like they can be more honest, or they feel seen or heard from this video and it helps them in a small way, I think it's been worth doing it. Yeah, let me know if you would like to see more videos like this and if you've enjoyed it, because I have actually enjoyed talking to myself. This kind of feels like I've been at a therapy session. Hit the thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more of